So I wanted to go a little more personal in this video. Something about me and what I deal with on a day-to-day basis. This is going to be fully unscripted while I play some Minecraft in the background. So feel free to sit back and, I don't know, listen to me or focus on my gameplay. So it's like 3:30 in the morning right now. And I mean, as the insomniac that I am, I've been thinking like I actually always do. So I thought making a video on it couldn't hurt. So I have MDD, which stands for major depressive disorder. It can also be called clinical depression or chronic depression, but either way, it's one of many forms of depression. So MDD is a chronic form of depression. I have been struggling with my mental health for years at this point. It started when I was like 13 or 14. And at the time, I already had been through a lot of bad stuff. I was kind of struggling with processing all of that. And then the depression that came along with that was probably just the next logical step for me, which I know sounds weird, but I don't have any control over that. Because besides me having MDD, I've also been diagnosed with PTSD. Post-traumatic stress disorder. And those two have been overlapping my whole life, basically. It has led to a lot of behavioral patterns that I have and try to break and overcome, but I mostly want to talk about what it's like living with a chronic form of depression. Keep in mind that everything I talk about is my experience and it's not an objective way of looking at it. I'm just here to share my own experience and what it's like for me to live with it. It's a pretty disabling thing every day. I know a chronic form of depression might sound very dramatic and overwhelming, and that is very true, but I am getting to the point where I am trying to seek peace and acceptance in it instead of trying to constantly fight it, which personally helps me a lot. You know, fighting something that is truly out of my control is a waste of energy to me, and I really need to save that energy because MDD takes away a lot of energy. It starts in the morning. Waking up already feels like an extreme burden. It takes hours for me to wake up. Whether I have a day off or I have to be somewhere, it's a struggle to get up. There's like a heavy weight on top of you that you have to get off first. Now, this is something I have gotten used to, but after all, it's a daily struggle, and I'm pretty sure it has everything to do with my MDD. And I think a good thing to know about me is that I am a very nihilistic person. Even though I do try to seek purpose in life, to look for things that make me happy, and I have proven to myself that I can do that, but sometimes it all feels very fucking pointless, because what's the point of life if we're all gonna die anyway? But on the other hand, you can always try to make the best out of it, and that's kind of what I try to do. Carrying your MDD throughout the day is really tiring because I am tired. And that also has to do with me having a lot of trouble sleeping, but what's making you tired is probably, the incapability to not be able to control your thoughts. Therefore, I can sometimes struggle being productive, which I don't like, but I need to learn to also give myself a break sometimes, and I mean that's what I'm trying to do, but I can't help but kind of beating myself up for not being productive. I wish more people would understand that it's not out of being lazy, but it's really just being incapable. I remember when I was in high school, there were a lot of days where I just skipped class. I felt terrible for skipping school, but on the other hand, I knew pretty well that I was just not able to do it. So in case you're in that situation, maybe think of it this way. You might beat yourself up for not being productive, but how would you feel if you push yourself to something you know you can't do? Like, how would you end up, better or worse? And if you want to show up the way you want to, you gotta take a break sometimes. This is something I still have a hard time believing. I say these words, but I still have a hard time to really act on them. But, I'll get there, and, I'm always trying. So, I have a lot of ways to cope. Some of them are healthy, some of them are a little less healthy. I personally really like to just go out and do stuff. Sometimes that's out of really just suppressing my feelings, but it can also be because I just want to get out of my brain for a little bit. Because if I don't, my mind is going to spiral, and that's going to be a cycle that I don't want to be in, because it's really hard to get out of that. I do hang out with people, but I'm also trying to learn to enjoy my own company, so I go out more by myself. What helps me a lot as well is working out. It might sound a little cliche, but it really helps a lot. I work out about like 5 times a week. It might sound extreme, but I really like to go all in all the time. But I'm like heading my 20s, so there's time, I guess. This is really difficult doing this without a script, by the way. I hope I'm not like rambling or anything. If I am, I apologize. I gotta say though, I have had a lot of days where things were way worse than they are now. I don't want to say everything's perfect. I mean, they're not, and I don't think things are ever gonna be perfect again. Because even though I have managed to overwrite the hopelessness in life, I'm still pretty sure I'm never gonna get rid of my condition. And that's what I said before. I have basically stopped fighting my depression. Instead of that, I'm trying to learn to live with it. I feel like the only person who can truly help me is myself, and I feel like I know my tools better than anyone. That is something most people kind of misunderstand, but here's the thing. I don't think anyone is ever gonna fully understand you other than yourself. I hope this video kind of resonates to some of you. I don't really want to be a role model or whatever, but I've been dealing with this for years, and I mean, I'm still here, alive and well. And yeah, I don't always feel alive, but I understand it's hard to believe there's light at the end of the tunnel. I know, because in all honesty, I struggle to see that too. Because like I said, I am pretty nihilistic. Like if I would look at life through like an objective lens, I don't think there is a point. I don't think there is a meaning. Because in the end, we're born and we die. But I think what matters is what you do in between the events. So, I mean, why don't you like get up and do something fun? Do something you like, do something that brings you peace. I have found that that really helps me a lot to hold on to whatever I have to hold on to. Because that's the point. Sometimes I really don't even know why I am holding on or what I am holding on to. But I know it's something, and I know something is out there. In all honesty, I am kind of nervous to put this out because I don't do very well with being vulnerable, but I hope it helped in some way. Yeah, take care of yourself. Bye guys.